Well, hello, hello. This is Cindy, your host at Ask Cindy Connector Live. Make sure you go to TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram and hit that follow button. Also, go to YouTube and go to Ask Cindy Connector Live. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and comment on the videos. So, really quickly, I want to do a quick plug for StreamYard. If you are a small to medium sized business and you would like a podcast just like this, simply go to StreamYard.com. And to support the show, go to Venmo.com/podcast mastery. So really quickly, I want to do a quick plug for National Day Calendar. I'm an ambassador with them. And yes, celebrate every day. So a couple of my favorites for today is Chinese Almond Cookie Day and Unicorn Day. Just go to nationaldaycalendar.com to get notified of each national day. So today I have the pleasure of introducing you to my friend Byron. I've actually known him for about 7 or 8 years. We met on Facebook. He's based in Dallas, Texas. And a big kudos for being a veteran. We really appreciate your service, and especially Air Force. I'm a big Thunderbird fan. So Byron is the CEO of Azare Media. He's based out of Dallas, Texas, and he's helping his clients reach that revenue potential. Welcome to the show, Byron.
Well, thank you, Cindy. Glad to be here.
So tell everybody your story. How did you get started?
Sure, it's a great story in terms of how I got into the world of marketing. Of where it began really was I was in the Air Force, and on all the bases you have hotels, restaurants, fitness centers, and these things that have to generate profit. And I was overseeing them. So when I got out, I made an interesting jump. I went into the whole financial planning world, but what was interesting is I was helping businesses make more money because I thought, what's the easiest way to get more money to grow? Help them grow. I realized, well, why not just do that the full time? And so that's what led me into the world of marketing full time to help businesses, because ultimately that's how you can control your destiny and be able to achieve what you're wanting to do.
So what are the things that you do for your clients? Do you work on SEO, or what is your main thing that you focus on for getting your client's name out there?
So the biggest thing for clients, it's not just SEO in itself, it's helping businesses be ranked in Google Maps, which is very effective for local businesses, primarily because of the number of searches that take place. So to put in perspective, every day over 3.6 billion searches globally are for things on a local basis, with 75% of those clicks going to one of the businesses in that map section. So if someone's a plumber, electrician, a roofer, an attorney, a doctor, you name it, and they're not showing up there, they're missing a huge opportunity because people want to do business in the area where they live at.
So what would you say for someone who just lost their job or wants to start and be an entrepreneur? What is the best way for them to get started? Is there some packages that you have to could get them on the Google page and get them talking Google, or what would you suggest?
Well, it depends on the business, because one thing I told someone is there's not a one size fits all approach. So if someone has a completely online business where they don't have a local presence, it's an entirely different strategy of what's involved there. So for example, let's just say it was a local business. Let's say it was a plumber. We'd figure out what's going to make the most sense, for them looking at, say, search and optimization, or might be pay-per-click advertising, and to do that. But one thing that I do recommend for all businesses, whether you're getting started or you've been around for a while, it's leveraging the power of Messenger. And here's why. More people today are using a chat feature to communicate with the business than ever before. So if you think about when you go to a website and you're like, do I want to talk to customer service? Or do you just want to click on chat? What do? You click on the chat button. So this way, guess what happens? You're now chatting with them. You're doing other things. You might be on the phone with someone else, and you're able to continue the conversation without having to stop everything. So I'd recommend, no matter what type of business you're in, to at least get started with using Messenger marketing.
And can you tell us about your website?
Sure. So with Azure Media, like, our focus is primarily with local type businesses, and revolve around three main areas. That's the search engine optimization. That's going to also be pay-per-click advertising and messenger marketing, because this way we're driving the communication of where people are being found to initiating the conversation with you. And that's our whole focus.
And so what are some tips for like for this show? Actually, I actually just got a postcard last
Mhm.
week and I'm going to get it done this weekend. And so now I have my Google page going. I'm going to add videos. I'm going to add testimonies in there. What is your best tip for someone who's new for the Google page?
So for starters, if you haven't claimed it, claim your Google My Business listing. That's one of the first things you want to do, and then verify it, because verifying it is a critical step in the process. So Google knows that, hey, you're a legitimate business. You're not just some fly by night thing, because you want to make sure that they're going to show qualified businesses to their people that are searching. So those are the first things. And then the next thing you want to do, you can upload images. You want to upload images that truly represent your business. I'll give you a great example of why this is important. A couple of years back, I'm looking at the places to go out and eat around Dallas. I thought, oh, pizza, this sounds like fun. And I'm looking at the pictures, and some of them, these are ones that were taken by the Google vans are driving around and just auto images that are there. One of them was of a dumpster by the restaurant. And I thought to myself, that's not exactly appetizing to see a dumpster. So you want to upload images that represent your business, and definitely not a dumpster if you're a restaurant, because that gives a whole different connotation. So doing that, adding posts to it, which is important. So you can tell people what's going on. And right now, as things are beginning to open up, there's a section there where you can build do updates based on COVID-19 of, are you open, of, are you delivery, takeout, or dine in if it's a restaurant. I mean, you can be able to put those things in there, which is critical. Also, you can upload videos to Google My Business, so you can be able to talk to people that way, give them a behind the scenes tour of stuff. So those are those big things. But another thing which is super important for any business, make sure you're monitoring what type of reviews people are leaving you. So if someone leaves you a positive review, respond to it. If they leave a negative review, definitely respond to it, because you want to make sure that you can be able to stave off any customer service nightmare before it evolves into a complete disaster.
So do you do reputation management?
Of representation management, no. Of it, here's why. Because in most cases, all that's going to involve is, let's say that someone leaves a bad review. What do? You go get more positive reviews, so the negative one is buried. That's what you need to do in most cases there. And so that's really what I will tell people. If you have something that's bad showing up on the first page of Google, guess what you're doing? You're only going to need content that's going to outrank it. That's it. So the best way to not have to worry about reputation management is do the right things in the first place. So that's what I rather focus the energy on.
That's great. Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is about YouTube. Now, do you do anything for YouTube for your clients? Is it
Yes.
really Google?
So YouTube falls into that umbrella, because I like to say YouTube is that how-to network. And for a
Mhm.
lot of businesses, it's a great spot to be at, especially as more people, they're cutting the cord and they're spending more time on YouTube. So you want to have that presence, because and here's a great reason why. I was talking to a realtor earlier today, and they said, they weren't getting great responses from Facebook ads. And I told them, here's why. The targeting options that used to be there for real estate are no longer there on Facebook. However, you can do all those targeting on YouTube. So if you only want to target certain zip codes, you can. You want to target homeowners, you can. If you only want to target certain income brackets, you can do that too. And if you want to target the people who are like homeowners, or they're most likely to move, you can be able to do that. And that's what you want to do, is be able to focus what you're looking for there, where you don't have those options on Facebook.
Well, I actually have a client retention business, and I do work with realtors. So maybe we could talk a
Oh,
little off
totally.
the show about that. So one of the things for my YouTube, well, I have the YouTube for this show, but I also have Bucket List Coach Web Show Live, which is a travel and bucket listy type show. I've had that show since 2014, and I barely have 600 followers. And I
Mhm.
do the tags and the cards and the hashtags at the top. What is your suggestion? Because I know travel is one of the hardest brands to get out on YouTube, because everybody has a YouTube travel page to step out.
Okay, so it's about having not just tags, the title, the description, these things. It's having the right title, the right description, and the right
Yes.
tags. Because if you're just putting in a tag that says travel, Hawaii, California, whoop-de-doo, that's not going to do much for you.
Yeah.
It's going to be looking at what's going to be most competitive of it in terms of where you have the opportunity to rank for. That's the way you have to look at it. And there's different tools in the marketplace that can help you do that, which changes everything. So you're not trying to struggle through anything. You're going to be able to figure out exactly the keywords that you need to be searching for. There's certain terms out there which are going to be very difficult for a channel to rank for in the beginning. So the strategy that I recommend people doing is you want to go after not as competitive keywords in the beginning, because then as you're ranking for that, you're building up the authority on your channel. So as you get more and more content and these are all ranking, well, now your channel has the authority. So then you can go after the more competitive terms and be able to rank there. But so many times you think, I want to rank for that big one right away. Well, no, that's not happening because you have to have all those things in place. However, if you want to show up right away for that big term, use YouTube ads. So you can place your video in front of someone who's already getting the traffic.
Oh, wow. And so do you do YouTube ads as a part of your business services?
Yeah. Yes,
do.
because
Okay.
it's effective for different types of businesses. As I was telling a realtor this morning, like I was saying about targeting, this would be one of the most efficient ways to get in front of those people. And especially if people are already looking for that and someone's getting the traffic, let's tap into that. It's the most efficient way. So instead of waiting for something to rank, you have a great video that's going to attract the attention, turn it on, and poof, you're getting views day one.
Yeah, because like, for example, I have a designated video on there. I had an interview with a couple of my friends over at National Day Calendar because I'm an ambassador with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so in trying to get that one to really get out to the masses. So I have National Day Calendar, I believe, and I think bucket list as the top hashtags. So I'm just kind of playing with what's the best hashtag because National Day Calendar is, world known. Everybody knows about that.
Yeah. So a great tool to use to figure out hashtags, there's a website called Hashtagify.
Oh, okay. Let me write that down.
And you can be able to search different hashtags to see how often they're being used. So you could figure out which ones make the most sense, because sometimes we have a habit of it's like, oh, I'm going to use this hashtag. It doesn't matter if no one's going to find it or people are not using it. So you want to be able to put your hashtag there that's where a conversation's already taking place, not trying to start a new one, because it's kind of like saying, hey, I'm going to start a party and you forgot to send out the invites, versus going to a party where people are already there, the music's hopping, and you can jump right in.
Well, how about bucket list? Do you think that that's a good hashtag to use, or probably not because maybe too many people are using it?
It depends.
Yeah.
Because of how many people are using it, what are they using it for, and what type of conversations. You have to think about it from that standpoint. What conversation do you want to be able to jump into? Is it relevant? Because if your goal is to sell something, well, where do you want to be in that conversation? If it's just like, this would be great, well, maybe not. Versus, let's say instead of bucket list, it was bucket list Disneyland. That could be more effective if that was a hashtag. I don't know without looking. But do you see the difference between, let's say, bucket list and bucket list Disneyland? That it's something that's a lot closer. So you want to look at what hashtags are relevant to what the discussion is. So people, when they're looking for like, oh, that I need to listen to this. So it gets them to take action. So you're not just being drowned out in tons of noise. Because
sorry, go ahead.
That's what happens so many times, is that we use too general hashtag and we get lost in the shuffle. Like, yay! It's kind of like being in a huge crowd and you're trying to catch your friend's attention, but they can't see you. That's essentially what it is. You're jumping up and down like, hey, look at me, and they can't see you because they're only like 5'2", and everyone's like 6'7".
I actually thought I was going to be TikTok famous with that ocean spray video. I was at the Rio Palace in Cabo in October. I'm like, oh, I got an idea. I'm going to drink the vodka cranberry at the pool, and I'll do a duet with the guy who has that viral video. I got like 600 likes. Like, oh.
Well, and here's the thing you have to look at when it comes to viral videos. No matter how much of you want to look at, like, there's a formula for it. If some things they're going to do amazingly well, and others,
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's going to happen. That's why when if you look at any of your big influencers out there now, you have to look at when they are just getting started, because now they can just put up like spaghetti on a wall in some cases and it'll get a ton of views. But in the beginning, you look at their posts, they'd have some which would do amazingly well, than others you'd hear crickets because it didn't resonate with the audience. So you have to really plan everything out in terms of, if let's use that vodka thing in terms of being at the pool. Well, who in the world do you want to be watching it? What's the purpose behind it? Of how do you structure it so it's something that's eye-catching? And then in terms of the hashtags, all these things that go into it, you have to plan it out so you can be able to maximize the opportunity.
Well, that's pretty crazy because on my bucket list shows every Wednesday. So I actually had one of my friends owns Pink Lady Investigations here in California. And a lot of her posts that are viral was when someone posts like negatively, and then like she's talking about that negative post. She has over 100,000 followers.
Yeah. And there's some science behind it, because if you look at what sells, it's negativity when it comes to news. There was actual research that was done in terms of, and this was ages ago, like back in the 1800s, in terms of just newspapers. They thought, let's have a newspaper that's full of positivity. It didn't do so well, but they added the negative stuff in there. It took off like wildfire. So people are attracted to it. Because think about it. What sounds more intriguing of, oh, look, someone rescued a kitten from a tree versus 9 cats burnt to a crisp? Which one's going to pull people in?
Oh, boy.
And so, and yes, it sounds horrible to say that, but that's what pulls people in. So it's something of that there's a big emotional trigger, that something that really pumps up the adrenaline attracts people more than just the typical feel good, like, oh, that's so sweet, and you forget about it, versus, oh, did you hear about this? It doesn't matter that someone saved cats their whole lives or something like that. People want to talk about this disaster, like there was 100-car pileup on the 405. People will talk about that.
Oh, you've been on the 405, right?
Yes.
I have a love-hate relationship with the 405.
I think everyone does. Is like, you love it when you need to get someplace, but you hate it the moment you get on it.
So you know what the real meaning between the of the 405?
What's that?
You can only go 4 or 5 miles an hour.
That's about right.
It actually is getting really crazy. But when COVID first happened, the 405 was pretty nice. It was a ghost town. You could get to LA in like 30 minutes. Now it's like an hour and a half from where I live.
Right. Like in the beginning, it's like, this is amazing. I can actually drive the speed limit.
Oh, so what do you charge for YouTube for services? We actually have a couple of minutes if you could talk on that.
Sure. Well, it depends on what's needing to be done, because I'll give you an example. Like some people, they need to have their videos optimized. So that's one of the process we have to look at. It depends on the number of videos. And then also when we're looking at, are we going to do paid advertising behind it? So there's multiple factors that go into it. So it's not just here's cut and dry, it's X amount of dollars, because like if someone just says one video, that's one thing. If someone says I have 100, like, well, that's a little bit different. And so we have to figure out all those things. And what's the overall strategy? Because sometimes what we forget about is that it's not about just getting that video ranked. It's what's going to happen after someone goes to it. Where are they going? Are they going to a particular website? Because this is another thing that typically goes wrong, is that people have this great videos ranking, but then what? They don't have the right type of website. They don't have a landing page for someone to go to. They're not including retargeting as part of that process.
Oh, okay.
All the things that are needed. So it's not just here's this one thing, because when you're looking at marketing, we can't think in a silo with blinders on. Like, I just need this one thing. Like, we have to look at the entire customer journey of where someone's starting at and where do you want them to be. So obviously the goal is, if someone's a stranger, what do we need to take them on in terms of a journey to get them to pull out their Visa?
Oh, you're frozen. What was that?
Oh, it's to take them from being a stranger to getting out their Visa and MasterCard and saying, I want to buy this.
Wow. Yeah, I'm actually going to contact you on Monday because I want to talk about what I can do for my YouTube page. I have a YouTube page for this show as well, but my
Okay.
travel one is my baby because I've been doing travel since 2012, and I
Okay.
started the page in 14. So I really want to get myself out there.
Okay.
So really quickly, how can people connect with you on LinkedIn?
Sure. If you just search for me at Byron Ingraham on LinkedIn and just send me a message and we can set up a time to talk, because there's something that every business can do to be found online, whether it's looking at YouTube, it's Google Maps. There is a way to get you in front of your exact ideal audience.
And any other tip before I put you in the green room?
I would say the most important thing, if you're not doing it, make sure you're getting testimonials from your clients, because so many times people forget about that. And that's important, because if you think about how we buy, we look at how many people have used something before. If you go to Amazon, what do? If you see two similar products, you get the one that has the most reviews. It's no different when we're looking at Google My Business. The more reviews can influence someone's buying decision.
That's really amazing, because I actually just posted 2 reviews today on my Ask Cindy connector. So
That's great.
I think testimonies are very important. So
Oh,
I'm going to put you in the green room, and I'll see you in just about half a minute.
Okay, great. Sure.
Well, there you go, guys. Make sure that you follow him on LinkedIn. You could actually go to this post. You could see all his links, and also go to the comment section. You could see his link there as well. And next on the show, I have my friend from Lancaster, California. He's going to talk all about this RV company that he works for. And it is so, so important to make the most of the dash and live your life to the fullest. And think of 5 people every single day that you could show gratitude. This is Cindy at Ask Cindy Connector Live. Make sure that you follow me on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. We'll see you here on the next show. Woo-hoo-hoo!